Okay, I think we are live at our second Horizon State Community AMA. I am Jason Fleurant, the Marketing and Communications Manager. I am joined by Nimo and Jamie, our two fabulous co-founders. Say hey, guys.
Hey, hi.
Okay, I'm just going to make sure the stream is up and running. Yeah, looks like we're good. Well, we let everyone join in. Jamie, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've been up to? Jamie was on a working holiday. He just got back, and he's already hitting the road.
Yeah, I didn't expect things to take off quite as quick as they have in regards to sort of PR and community engagement. But I went along to Melbourne's Bitcoin meetup just a couple of nights ago, which was hosted by Alex Saunders of Nuggets News, which is one of Australia's sort of biggest crypto personalities and has some of the largest followings on his channels. I took the stage with him and we talked about all things crypto to the audience of around 500. Answered a lot of great questions in regards to Horizon State and what the future looks like for both our business and my picture of what our democratic future could be. And it was such a big success that I thought we might continue that journey with him. So he's got some upcoming events as a part of his national tour in Brisbane and in Sydney. So I'm flying off to Sydney after this AMA, actually, and I'll be there tonight. So if any of you are in Sydney or know people in Sydney, get them to come along. Check out my Twitter, Horizon State's Twitter, or Alex's Nuggets News Twitter for details on the times and the venues. And then Tuesday next week is Brisbane. So if you're in Brisbane, I hope to see you there as well.
Perfect. Very exciting. And you know what? That actually segues into our first question from the community quite well. From Hercurit. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. You've actually met him, I think, Jamie, when you were in Europe. Yeah. So he asks, will be great to see whether there could be a Horizon State meetup. It would be great to catch up with everyone and meet the team face to face.
Yeah, so as we sort of just discussed offline, it's a good idea, I think, and based on the success of what Nugget is doing with his national tour, I think it will probably be wise for us to do something similar. Undoubtedly, we'll have at least one in Melbourne and at least one in Wellington. We've got most of the devs over in Wellington and myself and a couple others here in Melbourne. And I think it makes a lot of sense for us to actually check off some of the other key cities around the country as well, and even some of the smaller ones. International, maybe eventually, but obviously we're all really, really busy putting rubber on the road right now in respect to development and product work. But I wouldn't rule it out. But I think, yeah, in the near term, expect a few meetups around the country, and later maybe abroad as well.
Yeah, for sure. I, for one, am looking forward to some of our meetups. I think for sure we should do one in Melbourne, and I think also one in Wellington once the team gets set up there. And like Jamie said, everywhere we go. Okay, everyone's joining in the chat. Great. So let's just jump in. So our first question, or second question, I guess, is from Marnie. He asks, one, can you update us on the progress of recruiting? Are you hiring non-development staff? And two, have you or are you planning to sell some of Horizon State's tokens in the near future to cover expenses or otherwise?
Nimo?
Yeah. So recruitment. These two developers already started. Apart from me, one is Adrian, which Jason has shown the LinkedIn profile in the last vlog, and Joachim, who started on Monday. Joachim is in Barcelona. He's a Kiwi guy. He used to work for me for a few years in several projects while he was here. Moved to Barcelona for Sun and Love, I think, and he's working for us over there. I've also signed another two developers. One is Hevian, and he's going to start at the end of January, and the other one is Steven, who's going to start mid-February. And I am meeting with another developer later this week, likely to start in April. He's a very experienced back-end engineer that I work with as well. It's almost like getting all the good people I work with over the years together, which is cool. As for non-dev stuff, yes, I am meeting next week with a behavioral psychologist and system and business analyst, and with the hope of bringing him on board as well. He's a brilliant guy, a French guy, lived in Brazil for a long time, now lives in New Zealand as well, very multicultural, very smart, and knows a lot about communities and how to do stuff in communities, how to engage communities, how people work. So this definitely works well for us. And of course, Jason Fleurant, he's sort of technical, but he's not really a dev. And he's currently on holiday in South Africa, but he's back on the 23rd of January and starts work immediately. As for selling tokens for expenses, we don't need to do that right now. We still have a lot of Visa in our wallet. It should be fine for a while.
Yeah, for those who invested during the token sale period, from memory, I think the price in Australian dollars of ETH was around 400. Obviously, we've seen significant appreciation since then. So the 1.3 Australian that we raised, even after paying a lot of expenses, is now sitting at over 4. So in terms of operational capital, we're sitting pretty. We don't need to consider any other contingencies at this stage.
For sure, yeah. The price of Ether going up has definitely been a benefit. Speaking of which, now that our initial funding has doubled, maybe almost tripled, how does that affect us getting on to exchanges? That was a big concern for a lot of people in the community.
So we've reached out to Binance, and look, pending a response from them, we do intend to come to some sort of agreement about listing on Binance. They are generally slow to respond, as I'm sure you can imagine. They're pretty busy at the moment. We do have some other news regarding an Australian exchange as well. It's not one that any of you probably know right now because it doesn't exist. It is launching in April, and we are expected to be on there. We'll be asking the community to help beta test that platform as well, which so far looks pretty incredible. So far as exchange interfaces are concerned, it's one of the best, and that will provide the convenience for locals to actually start purchasing HST with Australian dollars as well if they choose to do so. And there might be a couple other things to talk about perhaps next AMA as well.
Awesome. Yeah, very exciting. I'm really interested to see this new exchange that's coming out. Jamie and Dan have been talking very highly about it, so exciting stuff to come. Okay, next question is from PJ. Who asks, who are the clients MyVote has in Belgium and India, or are they starting MyVote chapters in those countries?
Yeah, that's right. So they are starting MyVote chapters in those regions, and there will be a significant number of independents that will be running for seats in those countries, and they'll be doing so utilising MyVote's platform, which of course is underpinned by our own technology and the HST ecosystem.
Perfect. Okay, next question. How are the New Zealand offices coming along, and where would you consider your next geographic location for an office?
Right, so the lease is signed. We get possession at 12th of February. In the meantime, there's some work that's being done to install a kitchenette and some stuff as well. Yesterday, me and Steven, we went to look at office furniture, and we're going to buy some. So the devs have where to sit / work. All in all, it's looking pretty good. It's a nice building. It's a nice little town. It's not in Wellington. It's about 25-30 kilometers north of Wellington, a town called Porirua. Yeah, so it's very, very exciting. Hopefully we can get there.
Great. Okay, building on that, Mitchell asks, to follow up on the hiring question, last AMA we mentioned interns over the summer. Is opening an internship program still in the pipeline?
Let me just finish answering the previous question about offices in other countries. Not planned at the moment, but things move quickly. We sort of have chapters in Vancouver, Barcelona, and Paris already, so we might add people there. For internship, so yeah, I know we said we will do it. We just didn't get around to it. So I'm sorry, everybody who emailed in this CV and pinged me on Telegram. Could you just please do it again? I don't want to disappoint anyone. So let's start talking and see what we do now that we're past that the December, the Christmas New Year's period. It's easier.
And look, adding to the statement about offices, yeah, we'll play it by ear. We'll see what happens. We don't necessarily need to be setting up an office in every place that we have staff present. There are a lot of tremendous collaboration tools which make distributed working effective and productive and easy to coordinate now. I spent the last few years of my professional life running distributed startups, and you look at GitHub, you look at Automatic, who build WordPress, you look at Buffer, who build one of the world's leading social media management platforms. All these guys are largely distributed, so there's lots of great precedent for how to run businesses like that, and certainly I've been doing that recently as well.
Great. And if anyone wants to submit their CV, if you want to come to the Telegram group and give it to one of us admins, I'd be happy to start a list so that when the time comes, you will be considered. Okay, next question is from JP. He asks, can we elaborate on potential competitors for HST?
Did you want to put that on, Nimo?
Right, so potential competitors. There's the two possibly most established ones. There's Follow My Vote in the US and Democracy Earth, which is from somewhere in South America. I'm not completely sure where from. Follow My Vote has been around for a while. I don't think they're getting a lot of traction, but I might be wrong here. And they're definitely looking at only voting. So we need to remember, if we're talking about competition to rise and stay, most of the competition would be doing voting on a blockchain. Now, voting on blockchain is awesome. Is a very compelling use case for the blockchain, but it's also relatively easy to do. What we're doing is we're doing the whole lead up to the vote, and this is where all the potential customers and all the potential partnerships are so excited about, right? So it's the community engagement. Imagine a city the size of, size of Groningen in Holland. Imagine them, 350,000 people voting through the system, engaging through the system, submissions, petition, whatever you want. And that's a continuous thing, right? So the voting here is only a very little piece of the pie. It's giving people information, it's the sharing, it's giving people voice that's so important and so compelling to the people we meet with. And the competition, so to speak, they really only doing the vote. So Follow My Vote, they do vote on the blockchain, fine. Police, they are backed by Kaspersky Lab. I can't see anyone taking them seriously after what Kaspersky did in the last US elections. Then there's Boulay. Boulay were very interesting, but I think they're a little bit, I don't know, they're not very savvy. I think they stopped their ICO halfway through. Haven't heard about it too much lately. And Vote's platform, again, they seem to be not very professional over there. So all in all, there's definitely competition out there, especially as far as votes are concerned. I don't think they are as advanced or as well positioned as us, but obviously competition is a good thing. If you're the only one doing something, it might not be that good idea.
Yeah, I think competition typically breeds improvement between the players in that space. But the point surrounding us being a decision-making platform, I think, is a really important one. So we were recently approached by a prominent city council here in Melbourne who loved the idea, not necessarily of using it for voting explicitly, but indeed engagement with members of their seat, with the residents, with the constituents. And so instead of a letter drop asking people to come to town hall, which unto itself costs them in the vicinity of $20,000, $30,000 to conduct that letter drop, and then they might only get 3 or 30 people turn up to town hall instead of the over 10,000 members of that seat. They're able to start looking at utilising this platform to engage them with regularity and immediacy, and of course that security of opinion once it's been solicited as well. But of course they are interested in using it for state-based elections into the future.
Great. And would you guys mind touching a little about the differences between Horizon State and ClearPoll, as we get asked quite often what makes us better or what makes us different?
It's really different use cases. ClearPoll, as the name suggested, they're really more about polling, and they're good at that. You create a poll, you get people to vote, etc., etc. This is absolutely fine. There's heaps of use cases for that. Again, this election, or be it a national election or a city council election, is sort of a different beast to a poll. And also on Horizon State, the vote, again, the vote is a process. There's an education, there's an information pack going with the vote. The vote is not binary, or it's not choose one option out of 5 or 10. And there's multiple options. There's multiple ways for you to vote and make a decision, because decisions are hard. You don't always choose black or white. Sometimes there's two different variations of grey that you want to choose as well. And in fact, we can do it. We do it on our platform. And ClearPoll target audience is different, and the use case is different.
Yeah, perfect. I think that's one of the things that people don't realize about Horizon State, is that we aim to facilitate the entire decision-making process. That's why it's the decision token. It's not just a voting app. So that's perfect. Okay, so next question is from Jack. Is there going to be a market purchase for the first use of HST at the upcoming event this month? And if so, how will that work?
I don't suspect that the market purchase for the upcoming event will be significantly noticeable. This is a relatively small-scale pilot that we're running over there to demonstrate the technology. So I would say if you're hanging out for the World Economic Forum to see a bump in token price, don't hold your breath for that one, but into the future, certainly that would be the expectation of some larger customers and larger rollouts that take place.
Perfect. Okay, and this rolls into our next question from Sean. When can we expect details for the UN partnership?
Nimo, do you have any more info on that at this stage?
Well, I do, but Jason, you've been talking to the lady. Right, so Jason, as he introduced himself, is a marketing and community manager, so therefore he's coordinating the marketing for that. I can say that by the 23rd of January, definitely, because that's when the World Economic Forum starts. Until then, I don't know that we can say anything. It's really up to the NGO. Sorry.
Is there nothing that we are able to show them?
Sorry, the what?
Is there anything that we can show them?
Well, I can show the opening screen for the app that we built for them. If
I think people might want to see that. What do you guys think? And tell them a little bit, what is this exactly?
All right, so the vote is going to be about the SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals. There's going to be a few votes around that. Every square on the screen, I'll just show it again maybe. Every square on the screen here represents one of the sustainable development goals, and that's going to be voted on, with the exception of the bottom right square, which is the NGO itself. And then the person who's going to vote, which the NGO themselves are going to decide who these guys are, they're going to select the issues they wish to vote on. There's going to be presented with information packs about the issues, some facts, some details, some framing of questions and framing of opinions, and then they're going to be making their decisions about each one of those. And those decisions are then going to be the votes using the system, using the HST tokens.
Perfect. Okay, next question is from Adam. He asks, what is Horizon State's biggest challenge in 2018, and where do we see ourselves at the beginning of next year?
Look, I think the challenges aren't necessarily ones that have remained undisclosed or undiscussed. The challenges are twofold primarily. One is managing the customer pipeline, given the volume of interest in what we're doing, and as a byproduct of that, it's managing our development workforce, making sure that we have the right amount of resources to be achieving what we need to, hitting the right milestones for these customers, and considering our overall roadmap in respect to that activity. So certainly not insurmountable, but it's going to have to be managed carefully. But thankfully we've got the right people in the right roles, and everything is very much pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, as we mentioned in the previous AMA, we're in a silly situation for a startup where we have too many customers, and customers that are not necessarily all wanting the same thing. Therefore, we need to play and juggle our roadmap and juggle what it is that we're doing in the delivery times. And we touched about it in Telegram earlier this week. The reality of execution of a roadmap, of a plan, is that you pivot and you change as per what the market needs from you. And if a huge customer comes on board and they want to pay us, they want to purchase tokens for, I don't know, 12, 13 million bucks, and they want a specific module, then you can bet on anything you own that we're going to change the roadmap and go there and do that, unless we've already committed to delivering something else. But the reality is, there's just so much work to do. I hope to be able to recruit fast enough.
I've just been looking at Telegram and I've noticed that someone has screen capped you holding up the phone, Nimo, and they've got the URL in there, so they're going to be trying to figure out the rest of the URLs, I imagine, pretty quick.
This is not the problem.
We've got a very intelligent and dedicated community. Okay, so Alex's question kind of touches on to the next step of what we were talking about. He says, you've had a lot of interest from organizations getting in contact with you lately. Is there a particular area you wish to be more involved in that you may not be exposed to yet?
I don't think so. I mean, there's always going to be new, interesting use cases and applications, interesting customer opportunities come out of the woodwork that might be a surprise to us in terms of their industry or what precisely they do as a company. But our spread is already quite wide. I mean, we're already talking to governments at various levels. We're talking to NGOs on both national and international scale, and enterprise as well. So, in terms of broad categories, we're already working with most of them. From business to business, I guess there are varying levels of surprise in regards to what they do and how they think they'll be able to make use of such a platform.
Yeah. Okay, so next question comes from Daniel. He says, how will the HST token buys work in the future for the larger jobs? An example, will they be market purchased in one hit, causing a significant increase of volume, or spread over a longer period?
They will be spent over a longer period, so it's not going to be, get $5 million worth of Horizon token in a single transaction or in a single day. Although lately the daily volume is quite large as well. So if we can sustain about 2.5 million worth of daily volume over a while, and I have no issue with buying 3 or 4 or $7 million worth of tokens over a week or two. Shouldn't be too difficult.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, guys. If you have any more questions, I think we've gone through all the ones in the chat. Nimo or Jamie, do you have anything that you want to touch on? Things you want to announce? Talk to the poll the audience.
It's probably worth, while we wait for any potential additional questions that might roll through on Telegram. Yeah, we've got a couple of events coming up which are probably worthwhile mentioning. In February here in Melbourne, I'm at Pause Fest. For those who haven't heard yet, I'll be on stage with Sam Rosenblum from Coinbase. We're going to be talking about decentralized governance to the audience. I'm also on another panel debating the legitimacy of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency more broadly with some bankers, so that should be an interesting debate. And of course, I'll be presenting Horizon State's Technology and Vision at the conference as well, which is Australia's largest emerging technology conference. I'll also be in Sydney for Emergence, which I'll post some more details about into Telegram as well. But again, for those who have only just joined us and maybe missed the start of the chat, if you are in Sydney tonight, come along to Nuggets Sydney meetup. Nuggets News being one of Australia's biggest sort of crypto personalities. Jump into our Telegram, ask for the information on that, but it's also on our Twitter channel. And then on Tuesday next week, if you're in Brisbane, do the same.
Great, yeah, I'm looking forward to that debate. You gotta bring that one home for us. Also touching on the Nuggets News conference happening tonight, he's given us the okay to live stream the conference to our YouTube channel. So we should have that for everyone as well. Check Twitter or Telegram for the details, or just hit that subscribe button and come back to our channel. Okay, so we got some more questions rolling in here. From GT, one of our oldest members of the community. He's been with us since the beginning. He says, I don't exactly understand how APIs and SDKs, he doesn't understand exactly what they are. Can you please explain how this will benefit Horizon State and future client acquisitions once implemented on the roadmap?
Okay, so APIs are ways for external programs to talk to the Horizon State platform. We originally said, and we're still saying it, we are going to let other people write applications, whether they be dApps or just normal applications, on top of the platform. And to do that, they will need to be able to communicate with the platform, and that communication is going to be done through an API, an application programming interface. An SDK, which is a software development kit, is usually code that a company provides for other companies or other software providers to be able to use their API easily. So this would definitely be something like Java or .NET or Python or whatever code that already uses the API, already knows how to use the API. And then other people can just include that in their systems and be able to communicate with the Horizon State platform. Now, the reason we're providing these things is we want people to be able to expand our system. A lot of people, they have good ideas, and there's no reason for us to not let other people expand our platform, and be partners this way. And from a software development perspective, the best way to do it is through an API.
Great, yeah. So Mr. Chaz asks, if a customer pays $5 million for a vote, why does the team have to buy $5 million of HST? Only a very few tokens will be needed to physically conduct the vote. Also, will tokens be burnt after use? So Nimo has actually written a great article on the token mechanics and how the whole process works. But Nimo, would you mind just touching on it briefly for those who have not had a chance to read the article? It's on Medium, by the way. You can find it on our Medium page. Come to Telegram and we can link you to it.
Okay, I didn't hear the complete question, Jason. Can you repeat it?
Yeah, so basically he wants to know how the token mechanics work. He asks, if we bought $5 million for a vote, why does the team have to buy $5 million of HST? Only a very few tokens would be needed to physically conduct the vote. Also, will tokens be burnt after use?
Okay, so when a client uses the system, again, this is our sort of method of operations. We know that most of our clients are not going to want to use crypto asset. They're not going to want to use Ethereum. They're not going to want to buy tokens themselves. So we're going to quote them with a fiat price of say $5 million to run a specific vote. The use of funds out of those $5 million, most of it will have to go into purchasing tokens, because this is the, if you will, that's a currency in the system, the license to use the system in a sense. And that goes from the team off to the exchanges to buy tokens from token holders. I mean, presumably, yes, we could spend just $1 million out of it on buying tokens, but that's not what we're planning to do. We are planning to figure out what's the actual cost of the vote, and that will be paid for in tokens.
Right. Yeah.
The burning, etc. Yeah, this is just part of the token mechanics. We decided that a percentage of token will be burned after use, which would not really burn, but just sent away and going to be locked away with Dumbledore. And then we have the charities, we have the infrastructure projects that we're still working on partnerships there, and the rest will be recycled into the exchanges.
Right. Like I said, if you want even more information on the token mechanics, the article Nimo is posted on Medium breaks down everything for you. And if you still have questions, feel free to come into Telegram, and the team there will be happy to answer them for you. Okay, next question is from Jacob. He says, are you guys in talks with any other exchanges besides waiting for Binance to get back to you and the new Aussie one? Volume seems crucial to HST if you are buying more and more for clients.
First part, yes, we are in talk with more exchanges. Second part, the volume is crucial. This is correct. But I think we've all seen KuCoin just go ballistic over the last month. I personally think KuCoin is going to be a huge exchange in 2 or 3 months, which would probably work well enough for us. Having said that, we are trying with other exchanges. We are talking, obviously, like any large exchange, we don't want people to say that you're talking to them, so my lips will be seeing this.
Yeah, the volumes on KuCoin have already risen to pretty impressive levels, especially with tokens that are kind of exclusive to KuCoin in a way. So when you think about HST, we are in a number of exchanges, but KuCoin is the primary one. And so that's where most of the volume happens. We see around 300,000 or 400,000 Australian dollars worth of HST being pumped through Cryptopia, and then it's closer to 1.5 mil for KuCoin, and everything else at this stage pales into insignificance. But even those volumes are workable, and as Nimo alluded to, I think based on KuCoin's extremely proactive engagement with new token sales that are firing up, and the reputable teams that are running them, trying to get those tokens onto KuCoin as early as possible. For an example, they approached us directly. I think they're going to become quite a go-to over the coming months. And when other exchanges seem to be closing their doors intermittently, then KuCoin would be a beneficiary of that activity as well. So I think they're going to be big into the future, and arguably and debatably, I do actually think they've got one of the better interfaces as well.
Yeah, perfect. Touching on that a little bit more, Kiki is asking, when we do make our purchase, how do we choose which exchange we purchase from, And would it be one large buy? Would it be all at the same time? And is this one of the reasons we want to be listed on Binance?
Is he referring to customer purchases of tokens or as an individual?
Customer purchase of tokens, when we're purchasing for customers.
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of a customer purchasing tokens through our system, utilizing our own sort of fiat payment, what exchanges this is bought from will ultimately be up to the intra-ecosystem exchange, which is currently being built. But we'll make this fully transparent for the community as well in regards to which exchanges will be utilized for these customer buys.
Okay, next question is from Michael. He says, is there a chance that the investor market will drive the price of tokens too high for Horizon State to afford to purchase them to conduct voting? Is there a mechanism in place to prevent this?
Short answer is no, but again, the detail is in the token mechanics post on Medium. The price per vote is not fixed, and this is for very good reason. We have multiple jurisdictions which we are entering to do business in. This includes both developing and developed nations in terms of governmental use, but also enterprise as well, where local economies differ vastly. So the idea that we would have a very specific cost per vote or cost per engagement, whatever function they're utilising within our decision-making platform across the board doesn't make a lot of sense, because we would price certain businesses and certain governments out of the product. They wouldn't be able to afford it. So yeah, in short, no, but please head along to the token mechanics articles written on.
Exactly, yeah. So the main thing to take away there is that's the exact reason that customers are quoted in fiat rather than token amounts.
Yeah.
Okay, any more questions? We are going to wrap it up, I think, otherwise. Nimo, Jamie, you guys have anything else?
I think I'm all good.
All good here as well.
Okay, we got one more from Brent. He's asking if we're able to talk about which city council around Melbourne that Jamie had touched on.
Well, there's two of them actually, but no, we can't talk about it yet. I'll hopefully have some kind of letter of intent or MOU signed, hopefully within the coming few weeks. But rest assured, as soon as I can give more detail, I will.
Perfect. Okay, well, I think that's everything from us. Thank you so much for coming out, guys. We're going to have more Over the Horizon vlogs and more of these AMAs to come. So please do subscribe to the channel. Like I said, Jamie will be live streaming, hopefully, from the Nuggets News conference tonight in Sydney. They had over 500, I think, people show up to the one in Melbourne. So it's going to be a large event, going to be a lot of fun. Please do tune in. All right, well, I guess that's everything. Thank you so much.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.